Today is Saturday, September 24th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for week 1 of Survivor 43.
That's right. We did our recap. I'm just going to say recap. Just get that out, because that's what was trying to come out. All right, I said it. Recap. We did a recap on Wednesday. Now it's time to check in with the super fans and see what they thought. I'm anxious to hear what people thought of the 2-1, because I think that's a formula for success, but I want to hear what other people, the 2 hours, 1 tribal council, want to see what they thought.
Good to know what you're calling a 2-1 or whatever you said.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you like, what?
As well as updates on their thoughts on the castaways. So certainly there's Jabik, or before the show started, when you either listened to the Jabik show or you'd done a little research yourself. And then now that you've seen them all in action, what do you think? How do they stack up? I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody says.
All right.
Do we need to cover anything before we get started?
I don't think so. I don't think we have much business.
How many super fans?
21 chimed in.
Yay. All right. Let's get to it. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Wow. I love the 2-hour episode. A lot of great content, tribal lines, some great clips that we usually don't get to see much with the 1-hour episode. So let me let out a great big woo! Bam, bam. All right. So glad it's back, baby. One of my favorite shows, Survivor. But I was sad, though, guys, to see the yellow team lose. I actually like that yellow team. Now, I don't know, Stacy, how you feel. I know what you said in your Jabik show. I really liked Gabler in this premiere. I really did. Now, he made a mistake. I don't know that he should have. I don't know about sharing the idol was the right thing. Well, maybe because they saw 41 and 42, and wanting to use the in the dark. That's always a big no-no in the beginning. But I do like that girl Ellie went through his brain there and got him out of his trance and talked him out of it. I really liked Ellie. I didn't like Sammy. Sammy trying to do that individual part of the challenge there. Where they had to earn the reward in the beginning there. And I thought he was unkind to Gabler a little bit in the challenge. So I wouldn't mind seeing him go next time if this team loses. Well, it was a solid episode, and then Owen, I was so glad Owen didn't get blindsided. I really like Owen. I know he's a Woo look-alike, but I think he's a much better strategist than Woo. We'll see. Sad that Mariah got her torch stuff first. I really liked her. I'm going to miss the hair. Only a couple days in, but in the end, I guess she was the weakest link, despite having a girls' alliance with Ellie and Janine there. Okay, now the other tribes, real quick. Cody is getting on my crazy nerves. I'm going to explode. That guy, I knew it, is a manipulator and sneaky. They better watch out for him, and I think based on the next time, they may get rid of him, but it could be a misdirect. We'll see. Justine seemed all right. Nekka seems likable, and I was so glad for Noelle. I was worried she might be on the outs because of her story with the amputated leg. Jesse Lopez is okay, and then Dwight Moore, he was the one that went to that island there with the lose your vote, and I don't know if the team's going to trust him if that team. It might come down to Dwight and Cody if that team loses. That's a team I'm hoping loses. And the blue team, what else can you say except dominating there once again since 41? Cassidy looking solid despite a tough beginning with not getting the key on the pole in the first challenge. Carla working the women's alliance. Gio is all right. I'm not sold on Gio too much. James Jones, I think he's funny. He's likable. I like that the women are working with him, but I think when the time is right, he'll flip on them because he knows that's not an end game for him, at least from what the edit was. Overall, guys, this is a solid first episode. Love the challenges. Love the tribal dynamics. Let's see if there's any extra clips. I know now, lucky you get one or two nowadays. Can't wait for episode 2, guys. What a great episode. And I'm sold on Gabler, Stacy. Let's see how it goes. Woo!
Whoa, thanks, Pete. There are indeed 2 extras on Survivor on CBS on the YouTube channel. So you got Tree Mail at Baca, and then you got Gio trying to strategize with Ryan, but it was more about a celebration of Ryan and how sort of all-encompassing, overall dominant he is. Gio's trying to convince him to tone it down a little bit because Gio tells Ryan, "You're my number one, and I don't want your threat profile to be so big that you're
said,
go
did
next."
you want us to win or no?
Yeah.
But I don't know if Ryan can tone it down. I mean, what's the point? Everybody already knows what he can do.
Standout part of that clip, I guess, was, oh, here we go. Here's another guy who would just climb a palm tree and get coconuts. And, shades of Ozzy, shades of Jonathan.
I know, but I would be so happy to have him.
Yes.
Be like, yes.
Yeah.
He's bringing food. I'm never writing your name down.
Well, definitely Gio didn't seem like
Unless
he
you're writing
was.
mine, but.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Gio seems way more scheming than Ryan is.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Ryan's very scheming at all.
Yeah.
But definitely Gio will be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Carla could be too. So I think they would be better matched for scheming. Now, Ryan may go along with them and let them, do that, and he does what he does best. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, which so far looks like everything else. So yeah, he's definitely getting celebrated, and Gio's worried about him. Gio's already trying to lock down his people who are going to protect him and keep him around, which is smart.
Well, I really kind of think you were correct in that Gio's going to be viewed as the weakest person on their tribe.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure he's going to hang around.
Possibly.
So maybe he's scrambling already, knowing that he hasn't been able to live up to the challenges and stuff. So
yeah,
which is smart on his part. So
let's see what the other super fans think.
All right.
Next up, we got a call from Robert.
Hey, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is Robert from Canada calling in with my listener feedback. I hope everyone enjoyed the season premiere. I thought it laid a perfect foundation for what I expect to be another great season. With the episode only having one vote off, I found that 2 hours really gave us a lot more insight into each castaway, and I found their stories really compelling, especially Jesse. I'm truly amazed how Jesse could overcome such adversity in his youth and turn his life around. I don't think anyone's born being bad. People are often victims of their own environment and a lack of opportunity. And it's kind of ironic that Jesse was never really given an opportunity in life until he was in a detention center, and then he made the most of it. And now his kids are going to grow up having the kind of support system that he never had, so I think it's a really nice story. My wife decided to join in JSFL this year, and she picked Jesse as her UFC, so I'm glad I can root for him on her behalf. I think he's going to do really well. As far as the other castaways, I was most impressed with Ryan and Ellie. Although I can't say I'm impressed with Ellie's knowledge of heavy metal. I mean, Metallica, Megadeth, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, come on. Gabler was far worse than I imagined. I half expect him to play as idol for someone else next week. And I think Carla's playing the game better than I expected. I wasn't really as impressed with Lindsay as I thought I'd be. She seems to form bonds with people, but I thought she came off as a bit abrasive at times. The funniest part of the episode was James losing his pants. My wife and I had to rewind and rewatch that a few times and laugh about it. As someone who works with numbers all the time, I'm really embarrassed to say that in the Bones challenge, right off the bat, I was like, damn, it's 9,800. And I couldn't understand why it was taking so long to figure it out, and I felt so stupid when they finally did. I'm glad I'm not on Survivor. For next week, I think as far as vote-off goes, even though they made it look like Cody might find himself in trouble, I think they're going to stick with the strength theme. So I think I'm leaning towards Gio as my vote-off, but it'll be interesting to see how that works out, because I feel like even weaker players like Gio have already solidified their bonds with other tribe mates. So look forward to hearing everyone else's feedback, and take care.
Excellent. Thanks, Robert. All right, there's another one thinking Gio is likely to go unless he's got a good support system locked in. Next up, we got a call from Samantha.
This is Samantha, a.k.a. Survivor Rocks from Texas. I'm going old school and going into this season blind. Wow. I must say, after the last couple of seasons, I wasn't expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. The opening had that old school feel to me. I could feel the excitement come alive from start to finish. Survivor is stepping it up. Lindsay stood out from the beginning. She hit the screen. I don't have a love-hate relationship with anyone, yet. All the cast seemed likable, but some stood out above the rest. Coco Tribe is the tribe to beat. Others to stand out are James. I think he's a strategic one. We really like James, and Ryan is strong. He can help lead this tribe. Carla gave more than I expected. Coming in second for me is Vesey. Jessie is smart and one to watch out for. Don't judge a book by its cover, and Noelle is going to excel above the rest. Baca takes the bronze, but my favorites are Gabler and Sammy and Ellie. Sammy was impressive on the bone puzzle, and for the youngest out there, kudos on the win and making fire. You made it look easy. The risk your vote felt new and fresh. Not the same spin the wheel we have seen these last 2 seasons. The view was spectacular. I wouldn't risk it though. It's too soon. I was thrilled that Gabler got the idol, but whoa, Nellie, I was shocked. He would want to take the shot in the dark? That's crazy. That's insane. That wouldn't even be considered right now as an option, and especially with that advantage. He could easily be swayed in his decision. Might be a little too trusting or naive, and that could end his game sooner than later. I hope not, because we really like Gabler. Jeannie seems to be the most physically weak on her tribe, but not in her mind. Don't count her out. I don't think Mariah was the best choice, but I could see her going. Until next time, the tribe has spoken.
Thanks, Samantha. Yeah, in her exit interview, which I've got linked, and I've got the link to the Probst questions. Dalton Ross throws Probst a few questions.
In the show notes for this podcast.
Yep, for this episode. Mariah said that she thought maybe it had more to do with she just didn't line up with them. She thought that she was secure, obviously, in the women's alliance, but she had less in common overall with how they were approaching the game, and that might have made her odd one out.
Well, I think they were seemed more serious, and she just is so fun-loving and lighthearted, and
yeah, she wasn't ready to play the game that intensely, that fast, unfortunately.
Yep, she was thrown into it and wasn't ready.
I think that's what she meant with her last words when she said she should have been playing like it was her second time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Samantha.
At least she enjoyed it.
Thanks, Samantha. Next up, we got a call from Sandi.
Hi, guys. This is Sandi from Atlanta. Well, my book by the cover impressions were completely wrong. I had Gabler going out first. He was sort of impressive, but I don't know what kind of game he's playing. If he gets far at this new way of playing, I'll be surprised. But I'll tell you who impressed me. Ellie impressed me. Lindsay impressed me. Sammy surprised me. I really like Ryan and James, Jessie. But who's my USB? Oh, yeah, the guy with the tattoo on his butt. Cody, who looks like he is headed out the door next week. I tell you, the more I watch Survivor, and that's been from day one, the worse I can pick my USB. It's ridiculous. It's just, I would never, I don't know why anybody even lets me play. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Update on me. My doctor has dismissed me, so I don't have to go back to the doctor. No more scans, no more PET scans, no more blood work. It's a great day. So it's a great day also when there's a Survivor to watch. So thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for everything that you have done throughout the years. What fun this is. What great friendships we have made. Also, one other thing. Gabler For some reason, when I look at his face, it reminds me of a cartoon character. I don't remember where I've seen it, but it comes to my mind every time I look at him. And if someone knows what cartoon character I am thinking of, please post it in the Facebook group because it's bugging me. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great weekend and happy fall, happy Survivor, happy times.
I think I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Something Sam.
Something Sam?
Yeah, because he's kind of got.
You talking about Yosemite Sam?
Yosemite Sam. Maybe.
Okay.
Kind of got the hat and his beard's probably bushier.
Yeah,
stash,
Yosemite Sam's is wider. Yeah.
Okay. But okay, that's I was thinking I have no clue, and then I heard, what's his name? Sam. I saw a picture of that little guy, and I thought, okay, that could be it.
Okay,
but,
so you got Yosemite Sam. I'm gonna say Squidward from SpongeBob.
Know who that is.
And then there's another character on Popeye that looks kind of like Squidward, but I don't know what that character's name is.
Okay. Well, Sandy, I am so happy to hear your news.
Ecstatic.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
You have made my day, my week, my year. I am so happy for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They're doing better and better with treatments. So that's...
Well, she's had a long haul, but it paid off. Good for you.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we got an email from Erin in Canada. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Yay, we're back. Great episode. The 2 hours allows time to learn more about the history of each contestant. I have to say, I'm with Stacy, and I'm cheering for Justine. I think she has potential to go far in the game. Sammy can add Firestarter to his list of jobs. That was funny. I love when the editors put in their extra touch. I always pay attention to who is the first to give testimonials because that is often indicative of people who win or at least make it far in the game. Never thought I'd see the day when someone's butt tattoo is the episode title. Welcome to season 43. My prediction for next week is that Gabler or Geo will go home. Have a great week. Thanks, Erin. Yep, I could see that. I could see Gabler goofing it up, too. That lack of game acumen that he demonstrated in the first episode would cause me immense concern from a strategic perspective. I would just think this one's incompetent.
I would have thought that, but they seem to like him so much for some reason.
Well, the flip side is you might say someone willing to do that doesn't represent a threat in the game. So, and Ellie turned that ship really quickly from what we were given.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I won't play my shot. You know, but I'm afraid they're going to turn on Owen, though. So I would hope that if they go, they take Gabler.
Possibly.
Because I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot he's accomplished in challenges. So we'll see.
We saw him take a header. Right?
Oh yeah, they were when they were climbing up the to the top
in the
of
immunity
platform.
challenge. Yeah. He totally missed Sammy's hand. Didn't put his foot in the hand. He had
and
out to give him a step up.
And hit his head, looked like against the board.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, ow.
Yes, that lack of coordination right there, and a crack of the head. But
you
seems
said
like the
you
Gabler
thought,
story.
From the next on, you thought he had a pain face.
Yeah, I did.
So maybe he did get hurt, or.
But it looked like it was his leg, because he was making a face and holding his leg the way you do sometimes. It's like, I know that look. That's a leg that's hurting.
I know. You knew my response to that too. No, I'm always seeing that pain face. But anyway, well, that's what I mean. I didn't mean it was his head. That I just thought he might be injured if that was truly a pain face. So we'll find out next week.
Yes, we will. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca. So happy it's back. I got back from a 3-month trip to Maine just in time to catch the new season, and I really went into it blind and kind of did more than a judge a book by its cover, just kind of blindly picked pics and blindly picked a USB based on, I like that photograph. We'll get to my USB later because I'm very much regretting who I picked. I found that the cast is overall incredibly inspiring. Oh my goodness, the man who went from being in the gang to being incarcerated to getting a PhD, I found him incredible. The amazing player who lost a limb, I love her. I feel like this cast this year is just completely inspiring, and the stories are really cool, and it doesn't really seem like anybody is there to showboat, except for the person I chose as my USB. So I was going over the choices pretty much 7 hours before the show began, and I decided to pick somebody just based on that their photo appealed to me, so I picked Cody. And then I was watching the first episode going, oh my God, what have I done? I don't think I picked a good USB. I don't even know if this guy is going to make it to the merge. He's showboaty, and yeah. At any rate, I should have picked Lindsay. I really like her. I really like the way she played. Some of the real standouts for me were Sammy, who is kind of like Superman. It's so funny because he's like, I want to be low profile. I don't want people to know how smart or physical I am. Then he's, okay, wait, let me solve the math puzzle for you. Let me just build this shelter by myself. Here, I'll make the fire. I'm waiting for Sammy to cure cancer. So Sammy was a big standout. And also Mike, our new Mike, I thought it was funny that he kept worried about people are going to think I'm too old. And then he connected with everybody, and people really like and trust him. The only thing I would have done is I would not have offered up not to use my immunity idol and done my shot in the dark. I thought that was weird. Maybe he was just trying to make friends by being a little sacrificial. Not really sure what was going on there, but, he was fine. He did well. Oh my God. I totally messed up. Okay, for the first time ever, I picked the first vote off.
Yay.
However, I clicked the little space one person above her name by accident, so I did not get Mariah as a vote-off point. I didn't get a vote-off point. I got the 4 safe points. I was so excited. I was like, oh, my God. For the first time ever, I got a vote-off point. Not so fast. So I got to be careful when I put my picks in because I've made mistakes before. Anyway, I am really thrilled to see how the season plays out. There are a lot of people to root for, and I am looking forward to slowly learning all their names because, oh gosh, I don't know how you guys do it. You have everything so organized from the get-go, and I really admire it. Have a great day, everyone. I am off to Napa to ride my bike on today, what is my 10-year sober anniversary. So I'm feeling pretty happy. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Yay, congratulations.
Yes. Awesome.
What an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you.
Next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hi, Jen and Stacey. Hi, Survivor fans. I just want to say, great song, Parker. You did really, really well. Really good to hear you sing.
Mm-hmm.
And great season, great first episode. I liked it better than usual. It was a really good one. Good to see everybody. There's nobody I really hate. Even Gio wasn't annoying. Actually, Cody is the one who's the most irritating to me. I didn't have him as first off. I actually chose Carla, but she did surprisingly well. I thought maybe she wouldn't be as physical and maybe they would think she took up too much space in the tent or the shelter. But no, she did well. I chose Ellie to win the whole season. I love psychology. I did it for a year and I thought maybe she'd be able to be a good listener, and she did really, really well at the first episode. They filmed her a lot, so that was a bit worrying, but she wasn't voted off, and she's got a good smile. My kids are a little bit scared of how big her eyes are when she opens them really wide, and they were very upset with me for not choosing Ryan because he's from El Paso, and that's where we've been for 20 years, and I don't know, I feel a bit of a traitor. He did so well. I'm so proud. Really great lifting up James and getting under that massive log. I just couldn't believe that he did it the fastest. Felt sorry for Janine, and I kept on thinking, why aren't the girls telling her that she's got mud on her chin? rub it. And then I realised, oh no, she must have scratched it. And then I could totally feel the pain of scraping your chin. Because when I was about 13 or 14, I went to Paris and I was on these massive trampolines. And I over-rotated in a flip and scratched all my chin, and I had to walk around Disney. I think it was called Euro Disney back then, for 3 days with this massive, horrible scab on my chin. It really hurt. Oh, I also could relate to Mariah. Going in that mud, I was yelling at the TV, cover your hair. Your hair's going to get full of mud and it's going to be impossible to wash. Because I had my friend plait my hair. It took 12 hours. Add extensions to my hair, but after 3 months I had to wash it. I just couldn't stand it anymore, and they couldn't save any of my hair. They couldn't brush it or anything. I had to have like a boy pixie cut, and it was just so embarrassing going to school the next day. But it was a really, really great episode. I just loved everybody. Even Gio wasn't that annoying. It was a little bit of everything. I think most surprised was at Sammy, how intelligent, and he was quite brave at revealing that puzzle. So overall, really, really good, and excited to hear everybody else's comments. Bye. Take care.
Thanks, Sophie.
That's funny. That made me think of Sophie talking about Ellie's eyes scared them.
Yeah.
I wondered if that's the look Sophie gives them when they're misbehaving.
Okay.
My stepkids used to say, oh, Joanne doesn't have to say anything to us. Like, if we're around the table and we're doing something we're not supposed to, said she will shoot us the evil eye.
Uh-huh.
And we will stop whatever we're doing. And I thought, I think most mothers or stepmoms or whoever has a look that they give. So that's what it made me think of. Anyway, I'm probably wrong, Sophie, but that tickled me.
Good stuff. Yeah, they're right, though. There was something when she did that big-eyed look. It was like something to ward off predators, or I don't know. You have a real sub-level response to it. I remembered that when I heard her say that. It's like, oh, yeah, that look had an impact on me. Yeah,
too much white around the
something. Yeah, I
like
reacted too. That's what I thought of when she was explaining how her kids did.
Well,
like it's some kind of primal thing. I don't know.
I had thought, ooh, the therapist is looking a little bit crazy there with the wide-eyed.
Yeah, was that it? It looked like crazy eyes to you?
Yeah, well, it kind of did to me.
Uh-huh.
But, of course, I don't know. Maybe my mom looked at me that way. I don't know.
Good stuff. Thanks, Sophie. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's Chris from Minneapolis calling. Just thought I'd do a quick rundown of my first impressions of the players. Cassidy, didn't get a lot from her, but she definitely looks like she wants to play. Cody seems like a wild card. I don't see him going super far in the game. Dwight, he could be a player. Seems like a smart guy, so we'll see. Ellie, thinks she has some potential to be a good villain, kind of snaky qualities to her. We'll see. Gio, I just don't see much coming out of him. James, seems like people like him, people want to work with him, so that I think that bodes well for him. Janine, I think if she can make it through some of the early rounds and not voted out because of being a weaker player, I could see her going far. Jesse, thought about making him my USB. Kind of glad I didn't. He doesn't seem to have the social skills maybe to go far in the game. We'll see. Justine, she seems like a kind of an all-star. I can see why. I think Stacy, you might have picked her as your USB. She seems like she has what it takes. I could totally see her going far. Carla, not sure yet. I don't think we saw enough out of her. Lindsay, really liked her a lot. I could see if things kind of go her way. She seems like she has what it takes to go far. Gabler, wasn't impressed with a lot of his moves. Yeah, it just doesn't look good for him. Mariah, obviously, she's gone, and somehow I picked her to go out first. And so, given my track record on picking people, that was an amazing achievement for me. Noelle is who I actually picked for my USB, and I'm kind of happy I did. She seems like she has the qualities that it might take to go far, but we'll see. I liked her the first episode. Nika, didn't see a lot. Not sure. Owen, maybe he's playing his cards close to the vest, but he definitely could be a player. We'll see. Ryan, I was super impressed with. I mean, he seems to be kind of the whole package. Wouldn't surprise me if he went all the way. And Sammy, for being 19, I was impressed with everything he did, with the exception of how he handled that kind of bickering back and forth during that challenge. But overall, really good episode. Really liked the players this season. Take care. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew from Utah. Yes, I'm alive. Let's first of all do some damage control. Okay, I somehow totally spaced the finale feedback for 42, which is a real bummer because, you guys, I think it was the first time in my entire JSFL career that I have scored 100% correct on the final order, which, I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure it saved me from the very, very basement of the side challenge. That much I know. But I don't know, just overall, I thought it was an okay season. It's already kind of faded a little bit, so it doesn't seem to have a lot of lasting, power as far as, effect. Marianne was fine. She was there was a lot of things that were kind of iffy for me. But I'm looking forward to season 43. But also, I totally spaced it on the Javik, too. So I thought about submitting some actual, Javik whatever, but it's unfair now because, it's not actual Javik because I've seen the first episode. But I did listen to all the Javik part 1 and part 2. I did submit pics. I do have a USB. I just remembered Stacey talking about the theme, so I went along with that. Totally into that choice. But I thought it was a good premiere. I thought that there's an interesting cast going on. But you guys, the title of the episode and, what our man Cody has emblazoned on his derriere, it's not living, you guys. It's Livin. I think that makes a difference, you know what I mean? It's all caps. You got to spell it out when you say it. So anyway, it was a fun time. We'll see what happens. It seems like there's a lot of stuff being put in place. Gabler, I actually picked him to go first, and which was looking like it could have actually happened. Came down to it, it was my pick for first out and Julie's pick for first out. They were kind of on the top of the block, and I think neither of us ended up that way. I think she had Owen. She's not into the mustache, but his hair is fantastic. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to go. Everyone have a good weekend. I'm so excited. I remembered this in time. We had triple soccer games this morning, all three at the same time, in the same kind of vicinity at least, so we could kind of keep an eye on all three. But yeah, love this time of year. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, Drew.
All right. Now, are you sure you got your USB, Drew? Because it was 5 people, though it wasn't him. Five people ended up without their USB.
Forgot to hit submit.
Don't know what they did, but if that person is not highlighted when you go in to make your
safe
vote
picks
off and safe picks, then you didn't get it in.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got an email from Nora in Canada.
Hi, Stacy and Joanne. I was really happy with my selections for JSFL. 4 of mine are staying. The problem was that I actually got the correct person selected for my vote out, but the players in charge of that decision got it wrong. The correct person was Gabler, the oldest man. The 3 women in the Girls Alliance messed it up. I think when you form a Girls Alliance, you need to know what you've committed to. A Girls Alliance is the right choice. Here's what you commit to with 2 or 3 men and 2 or 3 women on your initial team. You have to actually say to the other girls the following. A Girls Alliance means we have to vote out strength. If you are afraid to vote out strength, don't commit to this.
That's a good point.
You don't want to end up at tribal. You will feel the need to keep alphas. But you have to understand you're a woman and they are guys. They are coming for you next because you don't have the superior strength of men. I think you have to have that conversation initially. You can all 3 stay in the game because there's only 3 or 4 votes till the merge. My ultimate survivor choice is Janine. I am still totally happy with this choice. I picked her because I thought she was the smartest person out of all the contestants, and I am totally proven correct. So I'm stoked.
Okay.
She also has an extra great quality that I didn't know when I picked her: humility, knowing how to keep your head low. Isn't this the additional qualification for being the ultimate survivor? Did you notice when she came up with the winning idea on making the bones into the biggest number, she did not toot her own horn? Although the 19-year-old came up with the first part of the winning idea, it was she who clinched it. She stood back and let the 19-year-old take all of the praise and did not insert herself at all. This proves to me that I made the absolutely correct choice, and she will win the entire thing. She's going to keep her head down. One question that is not asked, with reason, in JSFL is, who is the biggest alpha among the contestants for all three teams? It's a question that I look to answer first for myself when I go through the interviews and pictures. However, I'm just going on body shape and muscular physique. I was wrong. I picked Cody, but the real alpha of everybody out there is Ryan. Ryan is the one who had cerebral palsy at birth but beat it. He is the alpha of alphas out there. So I got that one wrong. Everybody is fantastic on all three teams. It's going to be really interesting. Thank you so much for everything you do. All right, and thank you, Nora.
Yeah.
Up next, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. And even though I was expecting your podcast, I was still surprised when I got up early Thursday morning to walk the dog and your recap was waiting for me. So, was I happy with episode 1 of Survivor 43? Yes. Was I glad to hear your recap? Yes. Was I glad to be part of the Fantasy League again? Well, let me say up front, I think I've been busted with Bustamante. Yeah, I picked Gio for my USB. Unlike some fans who change their vote based on the last video they see,
Ouch.
I'm not naming names, I have an expert strategy for picking a winner. I constantly choose the gay card. 41, it was Ricard. 42, high. Well, you can see where that's gotten me. This season, I thought Gio would be another high. Instead, I got Romeo 2.0. In the intro, when the three boats were heading to the island, we got to hear a lot of comments by the players, not Gio. And even though his tribe had the most enthusiastic reaction to starting the game, Gio wasn't smiling much. He's not great at the challenges. He didn't seem to be putting in as much effort as Ryan did when they were digging for their flint. And so far, he doesn't seem to be doing a lot of strategizing. So when Joanne read the USB choices and how many of us picked them, Mariah got 1, Gio got 2, and I was one of them. What was I thinking? At this point, the only thing I can hope for is that Gio will get a redemption arc from clueless to genius. It wasn't until he bonded with Carla, which I did predict, that I saw his chances rise for staying longer. On Coco, Carla seems to be the key one who decides who stays and who goes. And if her bond with Gio is stronger than the one with the women, he might stick around a while. For my first vote off, I picked Mike. It looked like he was ready to go, but not sure how he's playing the game, and I don't see how he's going to win the game. I was impressed with Sammy, but right now, if his tribe goes back to tribal council, his chances of staying aren't good. Mike's still got an idol, and Ellie seems to be calling all the shots. Maybe if Owen gets caught making all of his "you're my number ones," like Swati did last season, then maybe Sammy's got a chance. Anyway, as for the episode, I thought the 2 hours flew by. Once again, the filming was spectacular. This time they seem more focused on the players than the twists and the number of idols. No mention of the monster. So overall, I like the cast and their background stories. And as for my strategy, I still think playing the gay card was a sound decision, except I should have picked Carla. Talk to you next week. Bye.
No, they didn't mention the monster, for which I am grateful, David.
Yes.
But when they were walking into tribal council, I thought, they're walking through the belly of the beast. because they had all those bones. It looked like, a skeleton, and they were walking up the ramp through the middle.
So the monster's dead. You're saying we should be grateful.
I'm hoping so, yes. But that did cross my mind. I don't even know why, but...
Yeah, thankfully they tempered things out after 41 and 42, so I'm hoping... It looks very promising, and that Probst found an even keel. He was erratic and kind of spastic coming back from being away due to COVID, and 41 and 42 was like a fever dream of ideas that hopefully he'll just stay away from going forward.
Yeah, and as David pointed out, without using my name, was, me changing after seeing that little video clip. Mm-hmm. But it did get me a vote-off point, which I wouldn't have gotten had I stuck with Janine. But I don't know if I'm happy that I flipped over to Owen. I still like Jesse, so I'm okay if, Jesse steps up and does something good. And I am worried about Owen, so...
I'd be worried about Jesse, too, just based on that little bit of performance that we got out of him in this first 2-hour episode. It didn't bode well. He came across as meek and weak on a couple of occasions. Maybe that's just the beginning of his arc, though.
Well, also, we were rewatching the immunity challenge, and I kept saying, if I were on James's tribe, I would tell him, you are not wearing those pants in another challenge. Take them off before the challenge starts.
We're definitely like you and your wife, Robert. We watched that part because it was so funny.
Like, what?
Multiple times. Yeah.
But I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, they've only been out there, that was day 3.
He couldn't have lost that much that quick. Yeah.
But anyway... Whatever. I would just say you're not wearing them in the next challenge.
No more.
And especially if there's any mud or water involved.
Thanks, David. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and I adored this episode. I felt like we got such a balanced edit. We got tribe dynamics from everybody. Everybody got at least one confessional in the premiere. Yes, thank you. Do 2 hours in just one boot more often. This just works so much better than just trying to cram 2 episodes together. I went with Owen as my USB, and I was very nervous heading into Tribal, but luckily Ellie saved him, which thank you, Ellie. By the way, she was my top ranked player of this episode. She was amazing. She set herself up so well on Baga so that no matter what the outcome of Tribal was, she had majority in numbers after the vote. Because while she did have the all-girls thing, she had so many options set up where she was close with Owen. She was close with Gabler. So I feel like Sammy is really the one on the outs of that tribe. And I don't know if he knows that because they brought him in to the vote. But I feel like he's on the outs. So if they lose again, even though my first instinct was Gabler, I think it might be Sammy, which maybe is why he had such a glowing premiere. It's because it's his swan song and he's getting the boot next. Which, I don't know, just a possibility I could see. But going to the other tribes, I feel like Dwight had a really good first episode. He was super fun. Jesse was super fun. Noelle didn't have too much, but she seems nice. Justine was great. Then, that's all on Vessi that stood out to me. And then we go over to Coco, and Coco interested me because Lindsay came out of the gate aggressive, which I loved. I felt like she had such a good premiere. And then we got James. She roped in my boy James into the All-Girls Alliance, which, yes, thank you. Also, Ryan. I love Ryan. So, those 3 are so fun. And then there's Gio, who's just kind of there, and Carla, who's just kind of there, and Cassidy, who's just kind of there. But, those 3, James, Ryan, and Lindsay, amazing. They're carrying the Coco entertainment. But yeah, super fun episode. We did still get the return of Ship Wheel Island, but it was not a ship wheel anymore. but I like that it was different, and same with like the Savvy versus Sweat type thing. I like that both of those were a little bit different. And then Mariah leaving, she seemed like a fun character, but Owen stayed. So I didn't lose my USB or a save point. So I'm fine with that. See you, Mariah. Sorry. That's all I got. I will see you guys next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Cameron.
What is going on, Survivor Fans Podcast? This is Cameron from North Carolina. Joanne and Stacy, I'm so glad to be back for another season once again. I don't even know how many seasons I've been calling in at this point, since Ghost Island, I suppose, and it's been 4.5 years, so I'm so glad to be a part of this community. Life is a bit more chill for me than it was the last year, so hopefully I can get back to recording every week of the podcast. I'd love doing that, keeping up with it for sure. Nonetheless, I'm so glad to be back and glad to hear everyone else's takes this season. So let's get into the season. Right out the gate, my USB 40 this year, the one I should be rooting for the most as we go along, is Mr. Jesse of Durham, North Carolina at Duke University, right next door to Raleigh from me. So for a hometown guy, and for someone who just has such an interesting upbringing, I'd love to see him take it all, win the game, win the million. I mean, how many people are there out there who are detained by the law before they're even adults, and less than 15 years later they are PhDs working at Duke University or a college of that standard? That's so insane. I would love to see him win the game. So right out the gate, it kind of feels like Big Brother to me. For all those of you that watch that show as well, you could probably agree that right out the gate, when you're in the getting to know each other phase of the game, we have so many people sneaking off on every tribe, making as many alliances as they can. I mean, Survivor, you see that sometimes, but Big Brother, it's way more common, so that'll definitely make the social game very interesting for sure. The episode title this week was Livin', in all caps. And going into it, I did not know why it would be called that, nor would I have guessed why it would be called that. And when I got to it and saw why, I was thoroughly amused. So thank you, CBS, for putting that out there. That's really neat. As someone who's a fan of all the big reality shows between this, Amazing Race, and Big Brother, it's cool that we have pretty uncommon week of the CBS eclipse, if you will, that, you know, Survivor and Amazing Race both start as soon as Big Brother's about to end. That's really neat. It's hard to see who I don't like out the gate. There's definitely some people I'm just kind of like, I don't know if they'll be super favored by me throughout the season, but some that I like Dwight, dude my age, who had a Survivor fan upbringing like me. I would love to see him go far, do good. Noelle, she is very interesting. She was in the Paralympics even. She seems she'll be tough despite her disability. Gabler was my vote out this week, and I came really close, such as last season when I had Tori going week 1 to actually getting that week 1 surprise vote out point on JSFL. Didn't quite get it, but he seems like a really cool guy nonetheless. I like him too. And lastly, Owen. When I first saw him, I thought, oh, this guy's going to be so much like Woo, between the hair and the facial hair. Like, he's going to be a lot like Woo. But then when we got into it, I'm like, nah. In a sense, he almost seems more like someone like Nick Wilson, where he's probably going to have to rely on his social game more than him physically. So we'll see how he does, but he seems cool too. Everyone, I'm so glad to be back. Joanne and Stacy, thank you guys so much. And I look forward to calling it next week. See you then.
Awesome. Glad to have you back, Cameron. And it's good to hear that you're going to be on a more chill schedule, and we might get to hear from you
Yay.
More frequently. Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hi, everyone. It's Noelle calling from Albuquerque. I thought that was a solid first episode, although 2 hours is very difficult for me on school nights, but I'm not going to complain about having extra Survivor. I will complain about losing my USB in the first episode. Again, next time I tell you guys who my USB is, pick that person for first out, because that's apparently a pattern. Stacy, I appreciated your comments about what you had read on social media about Noelle being a bully in high school. I saw the same thing, and I see stuff like that all the time about players, and I don't enjoy it. It makes it harder for me to enjoy watching this show, so I don't share it anymore on the podcast in case other people have that same reaction, but there are some very funny tweets out there sometimes, so it can be hard to resist checking out what's going on Twitter, for me at least. Like Zach and Marianne last season were so funny. Mm-hmm. And there was one when Drea was finding all those advantage, somebody tweeted, she's one Horcrux away from being able to kill Jeff Probst. That was so funny. That was my favorite.
That's good.
I like the changes they made to the Shipwheel Island. I think the increased transparency is going to play out in a very interesting way. I'm so sad that we're not going to get to know Mariah better. I don't know who to cheer for now. I have someone in mind, so I'll probably choose them as my vote out next week. And Gabler's playing a really interesting game. I can't wait to hear what everybody thinks about that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Oh, I did have one more thing. Joanne, I wanted to tell you, don't feel bad for being triggered by the pet peeves, because the pet peeves bother me so much. I base almost all of my preseason impressions on pet peeves. And then I think for days and days about what would I say if I was filling out that Survivor application? What would I put down for pet peeves?
Yep, me too.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
I guess other people's pet peeves are our pet peeves.
Could be.
But thank you for that. I appreciate it because I felt very judgmental.
Yeah, you kept circling back to that.
But it confused me because it doesn't always hit me that strongly. And when I thought, oh, I'm reacting personally. Okay, I think that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And okay.
Yep, I think some of it's still there.
No, like
actually.
I said, I was kind of not happy I shared that with you because you are unmercifully teasing.
All right, thanks, Noelle. Next up, we got a call from KimJ.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's KimJ from Nashville. I'm so excited. I'm in first place in JSFL. I realize that there's a bunch of other people that are tied with me. Good for them. But I got a vote off point for first out, which never happens. And honestly, Stacy, it was your advice. You said that Mariah was going to stick out with all that colorful hair, and I didn't have anything else to go on. So I thought I'm going to go with that. And
you're welcome.
Rock on. Got an extra bonus point. It's probably all downhill from there. Loved this week's challenge. It was so nice to see some new elements, all the multiple stages. Really big thumbs up to that. Also was glad that our Savvy and Sweat challenge was a little bit different too than it was in the previous seasons. So far, I am loving James, Lindsay, Ellie. I'm not sure if she's going to end up like Michelle Fitzgerald and just win the whole thing, or if she's going to end up like Shan and go down miserably because she's everybody's friends and they're all going to turn on her at some point. I also really love Sammy. Ryan, is that the guy with the cerebral palsy, the mild cerebral palsy? He was great too. Really loved him. Don't know what to think about Cody. He's definitely a character. He's kind of like Brian Heidick meets Jonathan. He's interesting. He's not going to win. No way. He'll go out in flames, and I'm here for it. Super excited. So Dwight, I've got him as next out. He just, to me, looks like a fish out of water. The best thing for him, I think, is going to be if that tribe just doesn't go to tribal, which they may not. They look pretty strong, but he looks like he's just the odd man out in that particular tribe. So I went with Owen as my USB, and it seems like a lot of people went with him too. I don't know how I feel. He seems like he's overzealous, wanting to play really hard, so hopefully he can calm down. I think he's got all the tools, but I was certainly really impressed with Ellie the first week. I don't know anything about Cassidy. She's the one I feel like out of the whole cast, I don't really know anything about her, which probably means that she'll be like Erica and win the whole thing. Who knows? But I'm so glad the show is back. It was so great to hear you guys and can't wait to hear what everybody else says. Okay, so one more thing. Gabler says he is a heart valve specialist. So I actually Googled that, and I couldn't see where that was a profession at all. So I was really confused. Is he a doctor that specializes in heart valves, or is he like a tech? Do you guys have any idea what his educational background is? Would love to know. Thanks.
Okay, so take this with a grain of salt, because I saw it on the Survivor subreddit. Other people had the exact same question, and someone who looked into it posted and said, he's in medical sales. He sells heart valves. So he could be a sales technician, and he made sure to include a picture of himself in scrubs and a mask in what appeared to be inside a hospital.
He said, I work in the operating room.
Mm-hmm.
During the procedures.
So
he said that.
Helping select the right. I can't help but think, and this seemed to be the consensus of this thread too, was that he's inflating his role to the point that everyone's going to naturally think that he's more towards the surgeon spectrum than sales.
And he actually is.
Yeah, and so he could have a highly technical skill set. There's lots of sales engineers in all sorts of different fields, and they have to have deep knowledge of a particular item. But just get that vibe off him like he's trying to sell himself as more than he really is. And for me, he's got this immense Dan Foley kind of vibe coming off of him, too.
Well, that's not nice.
The mailman from Worlds Apart, he was kind of the same kind of guy in terms of had a bit of a poser tendency from that perspective. But we shall see. But that's a little bit that I could add extra there, and it could be all wrong. So,
also with Cassidy, we didn't get to see a whole lot of her.
She wasn't purple, but there wasn't much. Yeah.
But there was a clip where I thought, oh, I think I'm going to like her. I've been discounting her and forgetting her, and I thought, no, I think if she gets in, if the women get tight, bring somebody else in like James, if they stick with that, I think they're golden. And I really think she's got more going because she talked a little bit about being such a huge fan, and I liked her better once I heard her talking more about that. And
she was still banging the "I'm gonna manifest it" drum, and that just her and Cody were the ones who were saying that in the preseason too. I'll manifest my success. I manifested my success in my ability to get on here, and she was actually cast for 41. I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but then when the pandemic hit, and then
we did.
They had the BIPOC mandate. She got shuffled out of that cast,
and she had to reapply and go through the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And the other thing KimJ talked about was she compared Cody to Heat. But Heat was a salesman too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a car salesman, maybe even a used car salesman. Yeah. So she's picking up on that vibe, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
L-I-V-I-N. Yes, you nailed it, Drew. Good deal. Thanks, KimJ. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, the premiere was a great start to the season. More focus on players and gameplay, good tweaks to a few old gimmicks, and solid editing. I hope the rest of the season follows suit. My other observations. I'm convinced that Kumbaya is Fijian for clueless. I agree with Stacy. Thanks to Romeo's game, there's now a cockroach archetype. Gio filling that role this season. Speaking of archetypes, I think part of Mariah's problem was that she acted and sounded like Marianne, the latest winner. Yeah, that could be.
Could be.
That would be enough to scare me away.
Very exuberant personality.
Sammy needs a few more job titles if he's going to challenge Debbie Wayner's record. Absolutely. I hope we do see more of those. That was fun. Salesman Cody doesn't trust salesmen. Self-loathing much. Who knew that being a sweet potato farmer was a prereq for a PhD in genetics? A D&D friend of mine coined the term rose syndrome. No matter how dumb your moves are, you come out smelling like a rose. So far, Gabler has that in spades. Yeah, not for lack of trying. He's still in the game. I agree. Jeff has said that they might switch things up further at Big Rock Island. Will they have contestants take a boat ride without any chance of advantages and see if paranoia ensues? Yeah, it
will.
The power dynamic of that, because it's exposed, is definitely that's definitely something you got to reckon with out there. You probably don't want to be that person.
I wouldn't want to have to deal with it.
The bone puzzle is usually done with matches, but Jeff was afraid they'd be stolen. Yeah. Sammy saying, prepare to have your minds blown is not how you hide your puzzle skills. The X trenches in the sweat challenge looked like two plain round holes to me. I wonder if Sammy was fired after telling America he throws their dead pets in the incinerator. Oh man, he tried to qualify it, right? He tried to make sure you knew that they had already passed. Many players want to live on the edge. Cody's living on his butt. The fire lighting itself when the roof collapsed was straight out of a sitcom. I liked Baca's random finger counting way of choosing who would get in the boat. Yeah, we had to go back and look at that and see what they were doing. It wasn't obvious at first, was it?
Nope.
Dwight in his head scarf reminds me of a Monty Python pepper pot lady. Yeah, I can see that. Cody didn't believe the truth. There's a lot of that going around these days. Giving slower tribes fewer choices in the table maze part of the challenge was a nice touch. Janine mistook the log dig for fun at the beach, so she buried herself in the sand. For a moment in the challenge, I thought James would get a case of mosaic butt. Yeah, they didn't blur him out, though, did they? He didn't quite reach that level. The straight shot maze reminded me of an evil mini golf hole I've played. Janine literally took one to the chin for her tribe. Baca said they were supposed to win. As the commercial said, that's not how this works. Next time, Gabler should be safe at his next tribal council. Will he leave with an idol in his pocket? Yeah, that would be perfect. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thanks, Josh. Good job, bud. Next up.
Knowing Gabler, he'll pull himself out of the game and give his idol away.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he'll medevac himself.
Yeah.
Because he is a heart valve technician after all.
I can't help my tribe. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to give you guys this thing.
Uh-huh. He's got a little bit of
I'm overreacting, but
no, he's got a little bit of an Angelina vibe in him. He could end up doing something like that. I'll sacrifice for the team.
even if they don't want me to. To me, that's just a quit. But if he is in pain, like you said, maybe I could see him do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got a call from Jody.
All right.
Hey, Survivor family. It's Jody in Brisbane. I'm so glad to hear all your voices again. See you back in my feed. I have had little time to invest in the new season. Didn't even know it was coming up till I saw a new podcast in my feed. Super exciting. Instead of doing any research or whatever, I just looked at the list and I saw, Cody rhymes with Jody, and I was doing it on my phone, straight into the JSFL website. Didn't even look at Paul's fabulous roster until yesterday. Yeah, Cody rhymes with Jody. That'll do. But then, I look at this guy, and he has a mullet. That is a life decision. He seems really smart, really strong, and never would have picked him if I'd looked into it further. But I'm going to go with my instinct on, hey, it rhymes with my name. Random. So yeah, the whole cast looks like a lot of fun. I mean, Gabler's a bit of a loose unit. I don't understand the way he thinks at all. And I find his shirt really off-putting. Without my glasses on, it looks like his whole torso is covered in tattoos, and then he takes his shirt off and he is. I find him strange. Lots of people standing out with good vibes, but that's about all I have right at this minute. Oh, other than Olympian lady Noelle? Yeah. Oh, I just wonder, how does she manage out there with her leg, with the sand and the grit and, keeping things clean and not irritating? Truly amazing that you would even go out there and put yourself in that situation. She seems to be sort of thriving, and I hope she really goes quite far. She just seems so inspiring. Like I said, I'm so glad that it's all back and happening. Season 43. Joanne and Stacey, you guys are just amazing. You have just the way you stick through this all and put so much into it. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all. Okay, I gotta go and pack boxes. I'm moving house this week. 6 days to go and nothing is done. All right, love yous. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time, Jody. We appreciate it.
Prioritizing your feedback.
That's right.
Excellent. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Jade.
And Christine.
From Hawaii.
Aloha.
With our third time recording because of the dogs, but we'll give it a shot. So you want to start by talking about Mariah?
Mariah's on fire, but she was voted out. And I think it's mostly because she had this kind of weak gameplay. she has that unwillingness to be exclusive. It kind of reflects on her loyalty. It's like, are you going to be my ride or die?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just going to be like, everybody has to get along and we're all winners? And so that can turn people off, I think, in that sense.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, just today I was in class, we were playing a game, and I was like, you know what, guys? Everyone wins. And they're like, oh, teachers always do that.
Yes.
So maybe that energy is the same that she has because she wants to be inclusive. And yeah, that's not good for Survivor. Who do you think drove that vote, though?
I think it might be Ellie. I think she's kind of maybe an up-and-coming. I was thinking maybe she might be kind of braggy about that ability to manipulate people or whatever, but I see a subtlety to her play that is kind of interesting. She's not condescending or anything like Tori was.
That's true.
So, a lot of kindness.
Yeah, could be good, yeah. Yeah, there was some high points. Like, I really liked seeing all the strategy in the beginning, watching all the tribes in the beginning, seeing those connections.
Yeah, they showed us a lot of that, but there were some low points, maybe.
Yeah,
Shipwell.
I don't know about this Shipwheel Island thing. I just get annoyed because I feel like if they're taking someone so publicly off the beach elsewhere, then everyone knows they're gonna get some kind of advantage, or they could get an advantage. And then what happens? There's no opportunity for secrecy. And in Survivor, knowledge is power. So what kind of currency do players have to outplay each other? I prefer them finding idols in secret and advantages in secret and using them that way. Because I just think it's more interesting for gameplay.
Yeah, because we are in on the secret, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So low point for me, Gabler's beard in the mud. It showed it in slow motion and up close just for me, and I was so grossed out. I just kind of unsee that.
Yeah, that was gross. But I think our USB did pretty well in the challenges.
Yeah, we have the same one, Owen.
Yes, we didn't decide together. We decided separately. I had initially put James, and then about 15 minutes before the deadline, I switched to Owen, and now I'm kind of regretting it.
Yeah.
But he's my USB, so I've got to cheer for him.
Yeah, you got to commit now.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we are looking forward to a great season with everybody. Yes. Thank you so much, Joanna, Stacy, and all of the Survivor fans.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Christine. I agree with the Shipwell Island thing. The only thing you potentially have, I guess, is a bluff, because it seems like when you come back, you're just going to inevitably end up sharing it. But you could come back and bluff and say you lost your vote when you didn't.
But it'll come out eventually.
Yeah, but it might give you enough maneuvering room. It just sets you up for failure.
It breeds distrust and paranoia.
Yeah, because it's all open. Yeah.
I would do everything I could not to go out there and have to. It's like, nope, I'll just hang back.
Cody volunteering Dwight and saying, oh, man, you want it. You're a super fan. You're dying to go out there and do it.
Well, that
seemed to work.
Might have been, yeah. And then he didn't believe a thing he said. Nothing. No.
Right. He sent you out there.
He told Jesse, I don't trust him.
And then marked you with distrust upon your return.
Yeah, well, that could have been his whole goal for encouraging him to go.
Yep. So. He's a bit of a doofus goofball, but he's got some strategy going for sure.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So he's laid shade on Dwight and Justine now that we've seen.
Though I don't want anybody on my team who is jumping off cliffs and stuff like that and could hurt themselves. And that's not good for the team. How's that good for the team if you hurt yourself?
Well, he knows what he's doing. He's LIVIN.
Right, yeah. Well, like I said.
Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Christine. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
All right.
Hello, Joanne, Stacy, Survivor fans. It's Jeremiah here. And not to sound overly hyperbolic, but that might be one of my favorite premieres I have seen in a long time. And it all has to do with having 2 hours and only one tribal council.
Exactly.
And from what I've heard, that has not been done since the premiere of Heroes versus Villains. Being able to put that much focus on the players and building up character development makes for such a better experience for the rest of the season. I also think it really helps for the rest of the structure of the episode, too. Not being able to have to make it feel like the whole episode is just about challenges or players getting extra rewards. I just love how it played out. I liked all the small little changes they made with the structure on how the players have to make the early choice between the sweat and the trivia question. And also, too, just the way they handled the old Shipwheel Island, which is not a Shipwheel Island anymore. I like the way they handled that as well. Everything just really worked for me. As always, after a premiere, I have players who I am surprised about and some that I am not. Right before the episode aired, I've made a few adjustments after going through all my notes on my final 4, where I made one small change on that. Then I locked in my choices for USB and the 4 people I thought would be safe, and away we went. And boy, oh boy, Joanne, I was in the same position you were. I wind up going with Owen as my USB, mainly just because I felt like I would have a lot of fun rooting for him, and I had Mariah as my vote-off person. Oh my goodness, yes, I was going through the same emotions you were thinking, oh my gosh, I'm either going to lose my USB or I'm going to get a vote-off point. And of course, I am so glad I went the direction I did. So yeah, there was a few people I was a little bit surprised with and actually kind of impressed with. Let me go through each tribe and talk about that real quick. On Baka, yes, I feel really good about Ellie and Owen, but I have to admit the Sammy kid really did impress me. That was really impressive what he did in this episode, although I still think he's going to crash and burn. And Janine seemed a lot tougher than I thought as well. Her and Ellie might be a force. No major surprise on Vessi. I really like Jessie and Justine still, although Justine might be in trouble. Although I did enjoy Dwight quite a bit. But the big surprise for me was Coco. I will admit, Lindsay and Carla was way more impressive than I thought they were going to be. I think those 2 girls are people that we should be keeping an eye on. Everyone else is what I expected. Cody's a big character. Ryan's a sweetheart. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, solid cast. And for my predictions for next week, I think Coco's going to go to Tribal Council, and I think those girls are going to stick with James, and I think Gio will probably be, sadly, the person voted out. So there's my predictions for next week. Until then, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, this episode was a pleasant surprise. I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't go into this premiere having high expectations or hopes. I liked this extended beginning and introduction. I feel like we met a whole lot more people than we usually do. My girl Ellie got the first post-boat confessional right there on the beach, and so I was excited about that. And she actually got a lot of screen time talking during the episode, so I'm thinking maybe she's going to be this season's narrator. I'd be fine with that. When they were first on the beach and Jeff just kept talking and talking and talking, I thought to myself, this is why we need 2 hours. I mean, Jeff, when he gets preachy, I feel like he breaks the 4th wall when he talks about Survivor, the show, instead of the game. Like those questions like, how does it feel being out here? Is this your dream come true? I like to get to know the players more organically in their confessionals. I don't want it to be like Jeff Probst's talk show on the island. Anyway, so I loved the first challenge right out of the gate. I thought it was so smart to think about putting the flint inside the pole and pull it out that way. Whoever on the red team suggested that,
Cody.
They are the smart ones. I need to go back and see who that was because I was so impressed. On the beach, I thought it was good to see Gabler being thoughtful about his interactions with his tribe given his age difference. I was impressed by that initial awareness. And when we got the first backstory, I thought, oh no, that does not bode well for that guy. I was thinking during the show that maybe I can predict who's going home that night by who gets that backstory montage. But Mariah didn't get one, so I'm not sure that we're going to be able to use those to predict who the vote-off might be. So I want to say something about that bone puzzle. Sammy is a genius. I was so impressed. I would not have thought outside the box on that one. I would have thought, okay, you have to make the largest 4-digit number because you started out with 4-digit numbers. Using the bones to make an extra one was just mind-blowingly genius. I am a puzzle person, and I loved that. and he started fire, and he said he's 22 instead of 19. I loved it all. My view on Sammy has changed dramatically. I like the Nika, Cody, Jesse alliance that is forming. We'll see how that goes. I like how Ellie is connecting with everybody and keeping her options open. I think she's made a good start. And I think the tribes have made a good start. I can't remember when all tribes have been successful with getting supplies and building shelter and making a good start like that. The octopus uncamouflaging was amazing. I watched that multiple times. And finally, I like Gabler, but he doesn't have game sense, and I can't respect the move that he wanted to make by taking the shot in the dark. That was a quit in my book. You don't throw away your advantage just because you screwed up in a challenge. You thank your lucky stars that you have that advantage to see you through this vote. I don't know what he was thinking, but I think it shows a lack of confidence and no competitive spirit. So he needs to focus and remember why he's there. So that's it for me. I'm interested to hear what others think. Until next week, bye.
I love that. That's like the most succinct summation performance review. It shows a lack of confidence in game competence.
I agree.
That's perfect. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul. I was going to say the thing with Cody, who was the one who figured out how to do the bamboo, to put the flint in the end of the bamboo to help control it to get it off. Probe said they had no idea. That was a surprise to them, too. That hadn't come up. No one in the dream team had done that. So he basically broke that challenge.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah. Kudos to Cody there. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here. And yeah, that was an enjoyable ride. I was thrilled to see that we actually had a 2-hour episode rather than 2 1-hour episodes strung together. Because of that, I have a fairly good feel for most of the players, and I also feel a lot better than I did about this cast when I recorded my Javik feedback. So, I picked Ellie as my USB, and although I'm liking her, I do sort of wish that I went with Lindsay instead, because it turns out that not only do I like her better, but she seems to fit into her tribe better as well. Of course, when I look at the Coco tribe, I'm shocked at how badly Gio and James performed. James was a fish out of water in the challenges to me, and Gio was exactly the overtalker that I suspected he'd be. But Ryan was a powerhouse, so way to go there. And Carla, not bad. In fact, I feel bad that I picked her as first to go. No, I came so close to picking either Jesse or Justine as my USB, and luckily I don't regret not picking either of them. Jesse's first challenge revealed that he's not quite the tough guy that you might have thought he was. Listening to him talk makes me feel like I could easily be friends with him, but he's just not what I consider to be winner material. And Justine just seems rather clueless at random intervals. I will state for the record that when she accidentally made fire, I couldn't stop laughing. And Cody's personality is exactly what I expected, but he had his moments. He definitely impressed me at times, but his personality is going to get in his way for sure. In fact, I no longer think he's going to make the merge. On Baca, Sammy was essentially a younger version of Cody. He's got some game, but his play can be completely off. And his, temper, or maybe his low tolerance level? Well, that's going to be his downfall. And poor Gabler. I expected more from him, but he seems to be awkward socially and perhaps even physically. I'm surprised that I actually rather like him, but again, he's not Survivor material, which I think he's realized just 3 days into his game. Next to go, well, I'm going to say it's either Gabler, Owen was just a red herring this week, NECA, or Gio, even though Gio's story about his family left me heartbroken. That said, he's underperforming, while Carla is more than holding her own. So yeah, that's 3 people I've listed as next to go. So to narrow it down, I'm concerned we'll lose Gabler if Baca loses, immunity idol or not, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Coco loses and Gio goes home. Okay, so as for the roster, I've sort of added a hidden feature where you can click the menu button in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, which will allow you to select which episode's roster you want to view, as well as an advantage description, which explains exactly what the shorthand descriptions refer to. This is new, so I don't have all the kinks worked out yet, and sadly, to get back to the roster, you need to click on the menu button again and select the newest episode. But hopefully this will get better as time goes by. The poor interface design stems largely from the fact that my coding is, juvenile at best. But like I said, it will get better in time. So that's it for me. Catch you all next week. Bye.
Thanks, Paul.
Seems pretty good to me, Paul.
Yeah, I like the descriptions. That's cool having it in there. You were able to to get it word for word off the sheets that Dwight and Gabler had. So
excellent.
Yeah, good job. Look forward to seeing that evolve. Sounds like we had quite a few people thinking Gio might be the next one to go.
Yes, and that Coco would lose next.
Mm-hmm. My only hesitation is that's exactly what I thought for the first episode.
No.
And I had him going, so, well, we'll see. Thanks to everyone who took the time to share your thoughts and your predictions with us today. We really enjoyed it. We appreciated hearing from everybody.
And if you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your week 2 picks for 1 person voted off and 4 people who are safe.
If you want to join us in the next listener feedback show, which will be a week from today on Saturday, you can call and leave a voicemail at 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record an audio comment and attach it, or just type up a quick text message and send it to us via email at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in the 3-minute range. You guys did fantastic. I was able to stay on top of it. We had more than half of the audios and the writtens were in.
That's perfect.
By Friday.
That helped so much.
Yeah, because sometimes Saturdays are packed with stuff. So
yeah.
Yep.
And you even had a 1-hour class today, so
yep.
Had to work around that. But is there anything else you wanted to say about the episode? I thought we kind of covered pretty much everything.
I think the consensus is clear. We really like this 2-hour format with one tribal council so that we get all that tribe time. The tribe time is just fantastic for helping us learn a little more about the 18 different castaways that we're dealing with. And even then, we're still wanting more. So fortunately, we're going to get another 90-minute episode.
Yes.
Not quite 2 hours, but an hour and a half, although it won't be that much.
I think that should be the minimum.
The minimum?
We get every week.
Yes, that would be fantastic. We know there's footage. It's just whether the network would be willing to do that. I saw the...
Give it.
the numbers for the first episode. The initial numbers were in the 5 million range, that's good. That's in the same range as last season. Okay. So, yeah. Certainly there are many shows out there that get less than that.
This first episode just seemed so much better edited, and it just is
I love the fun the editors had. Yeah,
than the first ones of the last few seasons.
Yeah, and Probst was aware of that. Dalton Ross asked a whole bunch of questions about the titles. Owen getting his old style title, and them having fun with Sammy's titles, and all of it. So
yeah, it's those little bitty things they put in there that not everybody noticed. I didn't notice the title until you mentioned it. Mm-hmm. That Owen
was just
got,
so cool.
And I was like,
so happy
that
for
is
him.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I like that they're doing that kind of thing. It just feels more fun and more personal instead of, Jeff talking explaining things to us and the monsters after him.
Yeah.
It's like that. I'm so glad he didn't do any of that.
Right. He's over himself for now, at least.
Jeff wasn't highlighted in this 2 episode, where he has been.
Well, like Jen said, he spent quite a bit of time, talking to the camera there at the beginning, but then he got out of the way.
Yes, exactly. And I'm okay with that at the beginning. And just as an introduction, and okay, I get that. Mm-hmm. But, he didn't continue to do that. So I hope that's the trend of the season.
It actually felt so much better. It's like, well, you can see them learning, which is fantastic. I always say that I love that they're trying new things. I wish they had a little better model for how to think about how to propose changes. And like, it was good that Probst ran some stuff by Mike White, and Mike White gave him that test, is it fun? But unfortunately, the is it fun thing, Probst turned that around with, his fellow executive producer, Matt Van Wagenen, and that led him off to these other, the weird things with the monster and the hourglass. And so he didn't quite get it dialed in at first. He overcorrected drifted in the wrong direction, but I think he's finding the sweet spot now with 43. At least I feel very optimistic after that first episode here with 43.
Yeah, Mike White earned a lot of awards for the show he's been doing, so on the award show, and I was
you're talking about
whoa.
Emmys? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I kind of squirreled you by saying Mike White, didn't I?
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it just made me think of that I was like, oh, wow, look at him go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that is not relevant. So, all right, we'll be back here on Wednesday with our next recap.
Have a good one.